In 1963, a Swedish physicist named Per-Olof Lodin published a paper in Reviews of Modern Physics. It contained a proposal so strange that mainstream biology ignored it for decades. Lodin suggested that the protons holding together the two strands of your DNA, the hydrogen bonds at the heart of the double helix, do not behave classically. They tunnel. They pass through energy barriers that classical physics says they cannot cross, not by climbing over the barrier, through it, as if the barrier were not there. And when they do, they change the genetic code. The Hermetic tradition had a name for this. They described it centuries before Lodin's instruments existed. They called it the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. The macrocosm and the microcosm operate by the same laws. 60 years after Lodin's proposal, the physics has been confirmed. In 2022, a team at the University of Surrey, led by physicists Jim Al-Khalili and Marco Sacchi, published a peer-reviewed paper in Communications Physics, a Nature Group journal. Their finding was precise. In the guanine-cytosine base pair, one of the 4 base pairs that carry the genetic code, quantum tunneling of protons across the hydrogen bond outweighs classical barrier hopping. The quantum effect is not marginal, it is the dominant mechanism. What Lodin proposed in 1963 has now been computationally confirmed. Quantum mechanics is not just describing the behavior of atoms at some remote scale, far from biology. It is operating at the center of the molecule that carries your genetic instructions. To understand why this matters, we need to be precise about what quantum tunneling actually is. In classical physics, a particle that encounters an energy barrier must have enough energy to climb over it. If it does not, it stops. In quantum mechanics, a particle exists as a wave function, a probability distribution spread across space. That wave function does not stop at the barrier, it extends through it. On the other side of the barrier, the wave function has a non-zero amplitude. There is a real probability of finding the particle on the other side, even though it never had enough energy to cross classically. This is tunneling, not a metaphor, not an approximation, a measurable, experimentally confirmed quantum mechanical effect. And it is happening right now, in the DNA inside every cell of your body. The proton in the hydrogen bond of a guanine-cytosine base pair does not always stay where it started. It tunnels. When it does, the base pair changes form, from canonical to tautomeric. The genetic code at that position is altered. Quantum tunneling is one mechanism by which mutations arise, by which evolution is driven, by which life changes over time. The quantum effect in biology does not stop at DNA. In 2013, biochemists Judith Klinman and Amnon Cohen published a review in the Annual Review of Biochemistry. Their subject was enzyme catalysis, the process by which proteins accelerate the chemical reactions that make life possible. Their finding, quantum mechanical hydrogen tunneling plays a central role in how enzymes break chemical bonds. Not a peripheral role, not a minor contribution, a central mechanism. The enzyme does not simply lower the energy barrier so the hydrogen atom can climb over. The hydrogen atom tunnels through the barrier, while the enzyme holds the geometry in precisely the right configuration for tunneling to occur. The enzyme and the quantum effect are not separate. They are a system, a biological structure specifically shaped to exploit a quantum mechanical phenomenon. Jim Al-Khalili and John Joe McFadden, in their book Life on the Edge, describe this as life on the quantum edge, not separate from quantum mechanics, dependent on it. Here is what the Hermetic tradition described. The Emerald Tablet, appearing in Arabic texts from the 6th to 8th centuries CE, and attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, contains one of the most precise statements in all of Western esoteric philosophy. That which is above is like that which is below, and that which is below is like that which is above, to accomplish the miracles of the one thing. Read this as a structural statement, not as mysticism. The laws that govern the large are the same laws that govern the small. The macrocosm and the microcosm are not two different systems. They are the same system at different scales. Quantum tunneling is a submolecular phenomenon. It operates at the scale of protons moving across distances of less than a nanometer. And it produces consequences at the scale of genetic mutation, evolution, and biological life. The submolecular and the biological are not separate levels governed by separate laws. They are the same system at different scales. As above, so below. The Hermetic tradition was describing the structural unity of physical law across scales. What quantum biology confirmed in peer-reviewed journals in 2022, the Emerald Tablet stated as a principle over 1,000 years earlier. The Vedic tradition adds a second layer of precision. The Taittiriya Upanishad, composed approximately 600 BCE, describes the human being through 5 sheaths, the Pancha Kosha. At the outermost level, the Annamaya Kosha, the physical body, the body of food, gross matter. Immediately within it, the Pranamaya Kosha, the vital energy body, the field that animates the physical, the subtler level that organizes and drives the grosser level of matter. The relationship between these two sheaths is precisely the relationship quantum biology has now described between quantum and classical levels of DNA function. The quantum level, the pranamaya, organizes and drives the classical level, the annamaya. The proton tunneling across the hydrogen bond is not explicable by the classical chemistry of the double helix alone. It requires the quantum layer beneath. The gross body does not explain itself. It is animated and organized by a subtler level of physical reality that operates by quantum mechanical laws. The Vedic tradition described this structural relationship in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Per Olaf Lovden's Mathematics described it in 1963. Al-Khalili and Saki confirmed it experimentally in 2022. Let us place the 3 frameworks side by side. The quantum level organizes the classical level, quantum biology. Proton tunneling at the submolecular level drives genetic stability and mutation at the biological level. Hermetic principle, as above, so below, the submolecular and the biological governed by the same laws. Vedic Pranamaya Kosha, the vital energy sheath organizes and animates the physical body. 3 descriptions. The same structural relationship. The subtle level is not separate from the gross level. Quantum biology. The enzyme shapes itself specifically to exploit quantum tunneling. Quantum and classical are one integrated system. Hermetic principle. The miracle of the one thing, all levels expressing the same unified law. Vedic model. The 5 koshas are not separate layers. They are interpenetrating sheaths of one reality. 3 descriptions. The same integration. The submolecular drives evolution. Quantum biology. Proton tunneling alters base pairs, creating the mutations that drive genetic change. Hermetic principle. The operations of the sun, the alchemical process, the transformation of matter through subtle forces. Vedic model. Prana, as the life force that generates, sustains, and transforms the physical organism. 3 descriptions. The same direction of causation. The alchemists who worked with the principle as above, so below were not operating in ignorance of the physical world. They were operating with a framework that described the physical world at a level of structural precision that took modern science centuries to catch up to. The claim that the macroscopic and microscopic obey the same laws is not mysticism. It is the central assumption of modern physics. The alchemist's great work, the transformation of lead into gold, was never literally about metal. It was about the transformation of matter through subtle forces, the subtle organizing and transforming the gross, the quantum level driving the classical. That is quantum biology. That is DNA quantum tunneling. Before the practice, a direct observation. Right now, in every cell of your body, protons are tunneling through energy barriers that classical physics says they cannot cross. This is not happening at some remote scale irrelevant to your experience. It is happening in the molecule that carries the instructions for building every protein in your body. The pranamaya kosha, the vital energy sheath, is not a metaphor for feeling energetic. It is a description of the quantum level of biological function that animates and organizes the gross physical body. You are not a classical machine. You are a quantum system that has learned to maintain coherence in a warm, wet, biological environment against every expectation of classical physics. The practice the Vedic tradition prescribes for accessing the pranamaya kosha directly is pranayama, the regulation and cultivation of the breath. Not simply breathing exercises, the direct engagement of the vital energy body through the one physiological process that is both automatic and voluntary. Sit comfortably, spine upright if possible, let the eyes close. Become aware of the natural breath, not controlling it yet, just noticing it. Notice that the breath is happening without your instruction. The pranamaya kosha is already active, already animating the physical body. Now begin to extend the exhale. Inhale naturally through the nose. Exhale slowly, completely, for 8 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, inhale naturally. Exhale for 8 counts, slow, complete, nothing withheld. Notice what is present at the end of the exhale, before the next inhale begins. This is the space the Vedic tradition calls the kumbhaka, the natural pause, the moment where the pranamaya kosha is most directly accessible. One more breath. Inhale naturally. Exhale completely for 8 counts. Rest in the space after the exhale. The Hermetic principle says, as above, so below. The quantum level and the biological level governed by the same law. The Vedic tradition says, the pranamaya kosha is the direct interface between the subtle and the gross, the quantum level and the physical. Both are describing this moment, this breath, this body. Let the breath return to its natural rhythm. In 1963, Per Olav Lovden proposed that quantum mechanics operates at the heart of the genetic code. In 2022, Al-Khalili and Saki confirmed it. In the 6th to 8th century CE, the Emerald Tablet stated, "That which is above is like that which is below." In 600 BCE, the Taittiriya Upanishad described 5 interpenetrating levels of the human being, with the quantum vital body animating the gross physical body. 2 directions of investigation. 2 civilizations. The same structural relationship. The quantum beneath the classical. The subtle, animating the gross. As above, so below. Ancient wisdom. Quantum proof. Direct knowing. This is quantum gnosis.